Welcome to Seven Figure Chiro, the podcast where we cut through the noise and give you the unfiltered truth about building a practice that grows beyond you.
We're your hosts, Dr. Jeff
and Kristin Berard.
Twice a month, we're diving into real strategies, proven systems, and success stories that help chiropractors and clinic owners scale into multi-disciplinary powerhouses without losing their sanity or their margins.
Whether you're just starting out as an associate or leading a thriving practice,
we'll show you how to turn vision into execution,
execution into profit,
and profit into freedom.
Let's get to work, because your seven-figure practice isn't built on theory.
It's built on action. Welcome to Seven Figure Chiro Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Jeff Berard, along here with Kristin.
Hello.
In today's episode 25, we're going to talk about the difference between growing your practice and scaling your practice. On our episode 24, we alluded a little bit about growth and the cost of staying small. In today's episode, we'll talk about scaling and how you can go from small to big. So let's get right into it. So I have some definitions pulled up here on my phone, because when you hear growth and scaling, you know, what's the difference? And there is a big difference, and this is the whole premise behind this episode. So bear with me while I read my phone here. So growing a business is about increasing revenue by proportionately adding resources, while scaling means increasing revenue at a much faster rate than cost. And this is often through efficiency and technology. So, you know, when you look at growth versus scaling, the primary goal of growth is to increase revenue. And scaling means you increase revenue faster than you increased cost. So what that means is more profit when you scale. The cost and resources increase at a slower rate than revenue. So how do you scale? Optimizing processes, leveraging technology, and improving efficiency. I mean, that's how you can basically squeeze more juice from the lemon without, you know, going and increasing your cost. So let's chat about that. So in our prior episode 24, we talked about the cost of staying small, and you can grow your business as a chiropractor. As we stated in the prior episode, you can add more chiropractors, see more patients, but your costs go up proportionally. And at the end of the day, your profit margins really don't increase. So just imagine if instead of adding another chiropractor, you produce a plan, an initiative to really enhance efficiency through many processes. These would be things like making sure that every single process in your office has a standard operating procedure, making sure that the EMR system you use has the ability for you to scale with the other services in mind that you might be bringing on, other providers, your hours of operation, making sure that your hours of operation are optimizing the times when, you know, that are most sought after for the patients, making sure you're heavily staffed at the appropriate times and you're light on staff at the appropriate times. Reducing your cost with your vendors and negotiating those costs with vendors to improve your profitability and your profit margin, lowering your overhead. When you have all these things efficient prior to adding other providers, prior to scaling, you will see your profitability is going to grow exponentially.
Yeah, I will say one thing that we do on a yearly basis that is, you know, not even talking about scaling and growing, but we're talking about adding more profit, is we go through all of our expenses that we have for the year, and we find bids on other services that we can kind of change over. And then we have some leverage with some of our vendors and say, hey, we're going to switch to this other company. Can we cut down the costs? I mean, even if it's $25 a month, it still adds up. And so doing that on a yearly basis and looking at all of your vendors and all of your services that you use, maybe there's some things that you don't need anymore. Like we used to have Basecamp and Dropbox and all sorts of different things that we would use to communicate, to save files, for email systems. We had GoDaddy, and we put it all into Google Workspace, and we got rid of like 4 different platforms, and it makes it smoother and it's easier for everybody. So it's more efficient for everybody. So that's even an efficiency thing where you're saving costs. before you think about scaling and growing and adding other services.
Yeah, and another thing that prevents people from scaling, especially smaller chiros, is I've had several conversations that people will call us and ask us about our business model because of the amount of revenue we do and how much we've scaled in our community. And, I tell them, just, go hire a physical therapist. Oh, I can't afford that. I got to pay him a 70 to 100 grand a year. And, I know nothing about going to get PT patients. I don't know anything about the PT business. And I'll share with you what I did, because I had those same concerns, several years ago when we brought PT in. And what I did was, I just think, okay, how, keeping the scale definition in mind, how can I increase revenue, increase profit without exponentially increasing my cost? I wanted to make sure our revenue outpaced our costs. So I found a physical therapist that was willing to come on and partner and take some risk to grow with us, meaning he got paid when the PT made money. And this put us on the map. And as soon as we started gaining traction, we were able to secure a permanent salary for the PT. And this got our PT on a map. Now we have a thriving PT business. So there's a lot of ways to do it. And, one of the things that we teach other chiropractors and physical therapists is how to do that without increasing your cost. So you're able to scale your business. You're able to add new services without taking that risk of having a guaranteed salary you have to pay someone without having any revenue come in. And there's multiple ways other than finding someone to partner with that's willing to not make any money until they bring people in. There's profit sharing, right? You can pay someone a really small salary. When I say a small salary, I mean, literally you can pay someone $25,000 a year. That's guaranteeing them money, but then they get a fraction of the action every month that comes in that allows you to grow together. And, you can have a stipulation in the contract when, the revenue of the whatever department you're bringing in brings in X amount, then they can be guaranteed a certain salary. So it's thinking outside the box. And there's people that want to take those risks because they want more. And, the greater the risk, the greater the reward. So there's plenty of people out there that are willing to bet on themselves. And if they're not willing to bet on themselves, they're probably not a good team member to have anyway. So don't think scaling just means you got to open your wallet. Be creative, be innovative. And, these people you bring in, share with them the vision, the value, the potential, and that excitement will bring people to the table that are willing to bet on themselves.
Well, I think that's how the whole personal training thing started in our clinic. Is you were doing a lot of exercises with people as part of their chiropractic treatment plan. And then it kind of moved into people were looking for personal trainers that were completely outside of their chiropractic treatment plan. And so they were coming in for personal training sessions. And that kind of sticks with people for a long time, because once they get in a habit of working out with somebody, they love it. They just keep coming back. And so that is one way to scale. If you as a provider are constantly working with someone and that someone else can do that job at a lower rate, you can continue to see the patients that you need to see and continue to grow your patient base, and then turn over some of those patients who are done with treatment plans or who are at a point where they can work with someone else within your clinic and have your guidance, and they continue to come back. And then it also keeps them in the system, keeps them in your building. And that's one way to scale. And that's kind of where the whole personal training thing came in. And we finally got to the point with our PT business, we couldn't offer personal training anymore because we didn't have any room.
I mean, I like to say, be the convenience store for healthcare. I just gave you a method how we integrated PT without really increasing our costs. We did the same thing with acupuncture. We brought an acupuncture in who wanted a place to hang her hat. She didn't want to be encumbered with all the nuances of running her own business. So we brought her in, and when she performs a service, she gets paid and we get paid. It cost us nothing to bring her on, and she's extremely busy. She has a great reputation, and a ton of people come to see her. And guess what? Those people come into our office, they see that we have chiropractic, they see that we have physical therapy, they see we have the stretch center, they see we have the personal training stuff. They see all these services that's the convenience store. So, be the convenience center for those that are seeking alternative healthcare. I mean, it's that simple. And this all can happen without increasing your cost and exponentially increasing your revenue.
If you're looking to hear more about the whole acupuncture addition to our clinic, Courtney was in episode 21 and she talked all about it. So we always encourage people to go back to some of our previous episodes and learn a little bit more about sometimes what we're talking about in later episodes.
So that's kind of the premise behind scaling and growth, right? We want you to increase your revenue at a faster rate than your cost. The cost of staying small is your profit margins don't increase, but your workload does.
So let's talk about what else we did to scale. Stretch Center was really born because Jeff was doing a lot of stretches in the room with patients. And we had chiropractic assistants and we also had PTAs, physical therapy assistants that worked for us. Stretch Center is really, it can be part of a treatment plan with physical therapy, chiropractic, and some of these other services in gyms is great when people are doing personal training. But where it really benefited is it kept our providers, so our chiropractic assistants and our PTAs, busy because it gave people an extra service to come back to and to utilize, whether they were on a treatment plan or they were off the treatment plan and wanted to continue on with preventative care. And that is a good way to scale because we didn't have to go actually hire new people. We utilized the people that we had and made them busier.
That's a good point. That's another way to scale is, okay, so you have these staff members that are in your office that maybe every hour of the day isn't monetized. Well, let's figure out a way to make every hour of the day monetized with those people you are paying. If you were paying a chiropractic assistant, let's just, for the sake of argument, say $20 an hour. And, there's 3 or 4 hours out of the day where they're really not doing anything. That's a lot of money at the end of the year that you're just throwing into the wind. So what can you do? What can that team member do to monetize every hour of their working day so that not only are they being paid for, but you're making money off of them? So that's the mindset of scaling. And not everyone has the ability to think that way. They want to scale, but they don't really know how. I can assure you, after 25 years of doing this, I've been through every phase of chiropractic care. I suffered the pain of staying small. I suffered the pain of growing and having a lot of providers. But really, is all this work worth, the take-home pay that I was getting at the end of the day? And we have developed a system of efficiency. We've developed a system that is scalable. We've developed a system that produces an amazing office culture with all of our services, and it feeds itself. And it's gotten to the point where it just snowballs because, again, we're the convenience when it comes to healthcare in our community. And I don't see that growth stopping anytime soon. So if this is something that interests you and you want to just have a chat and learn about scaling from where you are now, I mean, that's what we do and that's where our passion lies. It doesn't have to be particularly what we're doing. It could be what maybe your vision is and what you want, and we can help put some layers on that and develop processes and policies and, put together pro forma data for you that can show you the numbers and the potential to really get you excited about taking that leap and that risk to scale your business so you can have the financial freedom, you can have pride in creating a legacy in your community that has endless potential.
Yeah. And so that's the great thing about what Jeff and I have developed is we offer a program for people to learn and incorporate PT into a chiropractic clinic and chiropractic into a PT clinic. So we have a course for that where you can go through and learn. And then we also offer coaching and consulting. And our coaching is really, we get on with you twice a month and we talk about what you're going through and help you with those things at that moment. And then we also offer consulting, and that is 100% tailored to you. There is nothing cookie cutter about it. We really focus on what your vision and your goals are and help you build a plan that can make things work for you, keeping in mind that maybe what we did and what we do isn't what you want to do. And we take that and we run with that. And that's the great thing about Jeff being a visionary, is he's constantly able to come up with things that some people, even like myself, are not able to come up with. But also talking about scaling and growing, Jeff, is as you scale and you grow, you have to have the support to go with that. And you have to make a decision at certain points in time. When do I need to bring somebody on to help support me and handle all of the business side of things that I cannot handle because I'm a provider and I want to work with my patients? And as an owner of the business and a provider of patients, we know you can't do it all. And so there are certain steps and there's certain points of your scaling and in growing business and career that you have to make a decision who you bring on and what the qualifications of this person need to be in order to do that. Like, we have, for instance, a marketer that works for us full time. And I can tell you, we went for 10 or 11 years where we didn't have a marketer. And we finally got to the point where we needed to make that a position. And we understand where you need assistance and what that looks like for a person who would be coming on to help you. And then also, we're going to do another episode coming up talking about working with your spouse, because there's a lot of people out there that we've met with that do work with their spouse. Either their husband is the Kristin in this Kristin and Jeff relationship, or vice versa. The husband is the chiropractor or physical therapist and the wife is helping out. And there are some pros and cons with that. And I really want to do an episode talking about that. So that's going to be one of our upcoming episodes, because God knows Jeff and I are yin and yang, and we are polar opposites of each other, but we are a really great team.
Going back to scaling, Kristin was talking about you get to a point where you need to find help. One of the things that we offer others, whether you're a chiropractic business or a physical therapy business, is we developed a management style within our chiropractic, our multi-disciplinary practice, where we have these different layers of leaders within the office, and we have very specific defined roles for each individual. And we can give you that blueprint of what that looks like, that outline of roles, so that you're not in control of it all. There's three things that every $1 million practice needs. And number one, you need someone to preach your why to the community. Number two, you need someone to deliver the why in the office. And number three, you need someone on the back end who pays the bills and collects the money, right? And these are three different people, by the way. In order to scale, you need to have someone that's their only job is to do those three pillars. That's a necessity. You can try to do it all yourself, but it's not going to be able to scale at the rate we would expect our clients, those that we consult, to scale without that. And the growth with having those positions is enormous. And we have that whole system for you. We have the outlines, we have the descriptions, and heck, we can even help you find those people and help interview those people if you are engaged with us to scale your business, because those people are the people that make your business scale. So there's a ton of value in that, and it's hard to find the right people. A lot of people, oh yeah, I'll have, I know this great friend of mine who's looking for, nope, it can't, it has to be someone that has the ability, a true integrator, someone that has the characteristics that are essential for the position they're given and nothing else. You're not finding someone to fill that position just because they can. They need to have very specific characteristics that we know what they are, and we're more than happy to share with you what they are and help you go find those exact people who can turn your business into an absolute machine.
I agree.
So, well, thanks for joining us on the Seven Figure Chiro Podcast. Until next time, keep up the good fight.
Goodbye.
Thanks for joining us on Seven Figure Chiro.
We hope today's episode gave you clarity, direction, and at least one strategy you can put into play right now.
Remember, building a seven-figure practice takes consistency, leadership, and execution.
But the reward is more freedom, more impact, and a business that truly serves you.
If you got value from today's conversation, hit subscribe, leave a review, and share it with other chiropractors or clinic owners who are ready to grow.
And don't miss the next episode.
We'll keep breaking down what it takes to scale smart, lead strong,
And profit big.
Until then, keep pushing forward and building the practice and the life you've envisioned.